Hello and welcome to another episode of Pepper Grey Diaries. Today I wanted to do an episode on a very special topic. And as you saw in the video title, we're going to be talking about Pepper. I thought it would be very fitting because the YouTube channel, the business, Pepper Grey, is all inspired by Pepper after all. And she's the reason why I started the business and the inspiration behind it all. Pepper is an almost 12-year-old senior greyhound, and she's been with us for almost 10 years now. And 10 years is a big chunk of time in your life. We got her when I was 25, so you can say that she's been a big part of the transformative years of my adulthood. Why did we first adopt Pepper? We were really inspired by, it's kind of funny thinking about it now, but there was this YouTuber called Essie Button, and she goes by Estee Lalonde now. And they had the cutest greyhound called Reggie, and seeing her adopt Reggie and having to witness what life with Reggie was like, I just knew greyhounds were the perfect breed for me. And I just knew, I don't know, there's just something about greyhounds. Like, if you think that they're the cutest thing on the planet, like, you can't unsee it. You know, as a greyhound parent or greyhound obsessed person, that once they've got your heart, they've got it good. I think it was just their gentle nature and the way they look, their personalities, and just their general gentleness is just what I fell in love with. And I actually first met a greyhound through that YouTube channel, through a video, and it was probably a few years until I really met a greyhound in real life. And I remember it quite vividly. It was in Sydney, in a suburb called Rozelle, and I was really starstruck when I first saw the greyhound. I went to the greyhound parent and I said, "Hi, I just love greyhounds so much, and I've never met a greyhound in real life. Can I please say hello to your dog?" And she was like, of course you can. And I was patting and saying hello to the greyhound. It was a very friendly one, and it started leaning on my leg. I knew that it was a greyhound thing to lean on your leg, and I was just like, oh my god, this is just like the YouTube video. This dog is leaning on my leg. And ever since then, every time I bumped into a greyhound, it was just so special. And I just felt like a fangirl. So I was basically a greyhound fangirl for a few years. And one day we just thought, you know what, maybe I should just inquire about greyhound adoption or even fostering. Now that was in 2013, and I remember sending an email to GAP New South Wales, which is Greyhound as Pets New South Wales, just to inquire. And I was living with my parents at the time, and I asked them, can we get a dog? And my dad specifically said, if Strata agrees to it, then sure. And apparently my dad said that thinking that Strata would definitely say no. But of course I get the Strata approval, and GAP New South Wales gets back to me saying, hey, thanks for inquiring. We have this dog that we've matched for you. What do you think? And that was when they sent me a photo of, I'll try and find if I can still find that original photo of Pepper, but she was a 2-year-old greyhound at the time, completely black, because she's very greyed in the face now. But yeah, she looked so cute and sweet. And something that was important for us was that we needed a cat-friendly greyhound, because we had a cat at the time, and to us, our cat was priority, and we wanted to make sure our cat was comfortable with this whole process, and we wanted to make sure that our cat was, safe. And ever since we got that email, everything started happening really fast. And we drove about an hour from Sydney, and that's where we met Pepper. And at GAP New South Wales, when we arrived, they said that they actually had 2 dogs for us to meet. Of course, Pepper was one of them, and the other one was Kita, a beautiful sandy coloured greyhound, a bit bigger than Pepper, probably about 32 kilos. Pepper's 25 kilos, and she was taller, and honestly, Kita was like the perfect dog. Kita was so gentle and confident and friendly, beautiful, and you got to walk both dogs, and you just knew that Kita was I just knew she was very, how do I put it, adoptable. We walked Kita first, and after walking Kita, we got to walk Pepper. Now, when we first met Pepper, lady at GAP New South Wales had to literally drag Pep from probably her crate to meet us. And Pepper was she was not in good shape, okay? Like, you know when the dog is like putting brakes on all four paws? That's what Pepper was doing. She didn't want to meet us. She was terrified. I remember once Pepper came to us, we tried to say hello, but we gave Pepper a little distance, and she was like, oh, you can try walk Pepper now. You can go around the block, basically what we did with Kita. We walked around the block and you could tell Pepper was very antsy. She wasn't comfortable. You could tell she was really nervous. And to make it a little bit worse, there were these dogs, because we were in like a very rural area. And these random dogs decided to just start barking and running up towards Pepper, but luckily it was fenced off. Pepper was like so scared, you could tell she was freaked out, and then we kind of freaked out. So we ended up sort of running back to Gap, New South Wales. In hindsight, it's actually better to keep calm and let the dog know that they're safe. So we got back and we got to do a car test and see how they are in the car. And for us, something that we were looking for is a dog that traveled well in the car. When Kita went in our car, Kita jumped in fine, and she was just standing on the back seat. And we thought, okay, that's great. Like, she can get in the car fine. She seems comfortable. And when it was Pepper's turn to get in the car, she jumped right in and she sat right down and got really cozy in the car. And honestly, that was probably the moment I knew we had to bring Pepper home. I don't know what it was, but seeing such an anxious and petrified dog see comfort and safety in our car, it just made me think that this is the right thing to do. So after we met the dogs, they let you discuss. They give you some time to make the decision, and me and my partner Ryoto, we were thinking, which dog, Kita or Pepper, which one do you think? Which actually is such a hard thing to do, because in a way I wish they only gave me one option, because choosing is hard. But then I was like, but did you see Pepper get in the car? Did you see her sit down in the back seat? She looks so comfortable. And we also knew that because Pepper's a black dog and because she's so anxious, it would have been so much harder for her to be adoptable. And we just knew Kita would be really popular. Like, typically black dogs are less popular when it comes to adoption. So I don't know, with all those factors in mind, we decided to go with Pepper. We brought Pepper home into our apartment, because we were living in an apartment at the time. And yeah, from there we just started living with her day by day, getting used to each other, and you could tell that Pepper was opening up a little bit each day. And yeah, it's only now when I look back 10 years later, we are so comfortable now. We know Pepper really well. We know her personality really well. We know what bothers her. We know how sensitive she is to the heat. We know how she doesn't like walking on asphalt grounds. We know that she loves peanut butter. We know she doesn't like people wearing fluoro. Like, all these little quirks we learn along the way. But when we first got her, I remember thinking, wow, I don't know about this dog. Like, I don't know what kind of life she lived for the past 2 years. Like, we haven't had her as a puppy. And who knows, she might snap at us one day, and maybe we might push a button that we're not even aware of. And I remember even sending an email to Gap, New South Wales, because there was a point where I was like unsure I made the right choice. But looking back now, the first 6 months was tough, but I'm glad that we went through it and we got to know each other, we got closer, and now she's just family. And I honestly can't imagine a life without Pepper. And I actually made a reel about reflecting on 10 years we've had with Pepper and how it's one of the best decisions I've made in my life to get Pepper, to adopt her, and to have her part of the family. But yeah, and that is how 35-year-old me came to be with almost 12-year-old Pepper today. So if you've watched till the end of the video, thank you. And if you're thinking about adopting a greyhound or any type of rescue dog, I think there's two things that I want to say. The first thing is, it might not be smooth and so easy in the start. You might even regret your decision or even have doubts. Second thing I want to say is, once the trust between you and the dog is built, of course you're going to change the dog's life, but it's not just the dog's life that changes, it's your life as well, but in the best possible way. I thought I was giving her a new life, but really it was Pepper who changed my life, and she taught me how to be patient. She told me how beautiful and gentle animals can be. She brings me so much joy, and she's just the ultimate companion. She's always there for me, both in the ups and downs of life. So adopting a greyhound or adopting a dog isn't just about giving them a home. It's really about growing together, building a home together, learning from one another, and creating a bond that's one of a kind. So that's a little bit about Pepper and how she changed my life. If you're thinking about adopting a greyhound or a dog or any kind of animal, just know it's not always easy at first, but it's one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do. Alright, I think that's it for today's episode. If you love dogs, small businesses, or just want to see more of Pepper, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, or find us on pepper.grey on Instagram or on www.peppergrey.com.au. Thank you for watching till the end. We'll see you again.